We did a midseason breakdown of Rueben Bain Jr. about a month ago. We're going to watch what he did against Pitt last week. In this video, I want you to not only pay attention to Rueben Bain, but also the Pitt offensive linemen, the way that their body kind of reacts to Rueben Bain. I think the best way to tell how fast a receiver is or a running back is the way that they kind of pull past a linebacker or a safety that's trying to tackle them. We're going to do the same thing with Rueben Bain, except we're going to watch how the offensive linemen react to Rueben Bain. That's how we're going to know how strong and how powerful Rueben Bain is. So when you give him 3 yards of space to pick up momentum like this, he just becomes a bulldozer. This bull rush is disgusting, the way that he can just walk this right tackle into the backfield. This pocket's completely collapsed. This entire game, Pitt's trying to get the ball out really fast, and Miami's defensive front still found a way to get the pressure on Mason Heinchel in like a half second. Not just Rueben Bain, number 99, Ahmad Moten had a really good game as well, but we're going to watch Rueben Bain right now. Look at how fast he gets into the backfield, and that right tackle just completely gets walked into the quarterback. And this next one, we said he was a bulldozer on that first one. We're going to see that bulldozing almost turn into a forklift on this. This right tackle, actually, his 2 feet are going to go up in the air because of the way that Rueben Bain Jr. can just walk him. So why can he do that? First of all, it's the lower body strength, weight room stuff. Take a look at this right tackle, the way that he's just completely put in the air. But a lot of it's leverage, the way that Rueben Bain, the entire game, not just on the highlight tape, every pass rush rep, every run defense clip as well, the pad level is so low, he's always going to have a leverage advantage because he does such a good job staying low, and then that lower body strength as well. We're going to see that lower body strength a lot against the run. This time I want to talk about that upper body strength. Watch the way he can just kind of paw this tight end. Just watch this tight end on the left right here to Rueben Bain's left. The way he's just going to get completely thrown into the trash by Rueben Bain's left hand. That's one hand that Rueben Bain just did that with, and that's a tight end, a guy that's probably 240, 260. We saw it against a 300-pound offensive lineman before. It's going to be a smaller tight end, but this is all with one hand right here, the way he can just completely discard him, get into the backfield, and make that tackle for a loss. So, the strength that Rueben Bain has, I don't think there's any question about it, and we'll see that this entire game with that bull rush because of that lower body strength and then the way that he can keep that pad level low. Look at that right there. Just the offensive linemen, like I said, if you just pay attention to them the entire game, it just looks like they turn into high school football players. I've watched a lot of Pitt offense this season because the quarterback's pretty good, Mason Heinchel, and the offensive line hasn't looked awful the entire season. Just this game against Miami, all of a sudden it looks like they have a high school offensive line because of the pressure that this Miami defensive front brought, especially number 4, Rueben Bain. But we're going to talk about him as a run defender as well. Look at number 99, Ahmad Moten, just holding his own. He forces this running back to bounce it to the outside. Number 25 is a true freshman. He's a pretty good running back, but dude, if I'm a running back, I'm knowing where Rueben Bain is, and I'm not running to him. I'll try to avoid running to number 4 side if I can, and just take a look at it. He just kind of runs right to Rueben Bain. But, credit to Bain having that lower body strength. This isn't a sexy clip. I think those pass rush clips are a lot more exciting. That's what gets shown on ESPN and Mel Kiper and Stephen A. Smith even. I don't know if he's talking about Rueben Bain, but those pass rushing stuff, that's really exciting. I think what you see the entire game, what makes Rueben Bain Jr. such an effective player is just these smaller clips, the way that he can just hold his own in the run game. He had that 3 yards to pick up momentum before. This time you'll see that point of contact happens in about a yard, and he just has really strong. He's just really strong when he can just stand straight up. He doesn't need that momentum to play with power, is what I'm trying to say, and that's what makes him a really good run defender. We'll see him turn the corner here, and I think the reason why this turns into a sack, you watch the offensive lineman again before, if you're a left tackle, you put yourself into his shoes, you're worried about that bull rush, right? Rueben Bain Jr. is such a powerful football player like we just established. You're worried about him going through you. Now, the counter off of that for Rueben Bain is to go to the outside. So this left tackle won't get as much depth on that first pass set because he's not trying to overextend. If he overextends, that bull rush is going to be devastating. So that first pass set doesn't happen as wide as it ought to. It's easy for me to say that when I'm not blocking him, but you watch a guy like Colin Simmons for Texas. We just watched the sophomore for Texas. He had a really good game. Offensive tackles have to go all the way to the outside to try to protect that outside shoulder. That's going to leave the inside wide open. It's kind of the opposite for Rueben Bain. They're kind of worried about that bull rush, so they're just going to kind of stay home a little bit, not overextend. What does that do for Rueben Bain? That opens that outside lane like that, and he also has that first step and that explosiveness and even the bend to turn the corner on this. That's all pretty good for a guy as strong and as big of a pass rusher as Rueben Bain is. So to me, that's what the game is right now. You're an offensive tackle, you're worried about getting bull rushed, that opens the outside for Rueben Bain. And then, if you all of a sudden start overextending because you want to protect that outside shoulder, Rueben Bain's just going to bull rush you, which he does such a good job of. And I mean, watch number 99 also. This is a guy I'm a big fan of, Ahmad Moten. We did a breakdown last week, but 2 sacks last week against Virginia Tech, and then he had a sack right there as well, Ahmad Moten. But talking about Rueben Bain again, we're just going to watch a little quick clip. I don't know if you guys watch Coach Hayes, the Miami guy. He's a real good content creator. I watched a lot of the high school breakdowns that he does, and he talks about Po Little Timmy, about the high school, the big time recruits just kind of making the offensive lineman or whoever on the other high school team kind of look like, just a guy. Well, this is Rueben Bain doing that at the college level. Look at the way that he can just completely throw this tackle, to the side. He almost looks like he ragdolls like you would in GTA or something. And then, yeah, that's just the hand use. The hands are always going with Rueben Bain, and he forces that issue in the backfield, try to run inside zone to the right, and you can't do that because of how fast Rueben Bain gets into that A-gap. The decision has to happen as soon as that running back gets the ball and it goes for a 2-yard gain or whatever that was. And then the strength again, it's just every play with Rueben Bain. But I'm really excited to start talking about Rueben Bain as a draft prospect. Of course, Miami's had such a good 2025 season. Hopefully they make the playoffs. That remains to be seen, but definitely a guy that's going to hear his name called real early in the NFL draft. He might be the first one. You might not have to wait to hear his name called in the NFL draft. I definitely think that's a guy that is going to be in the conversation to go first overall until the commissioner actually says who goes first overall. But you take a look at the we-draft.com website. This is the website that I kind of made, and this is the only guy that has like 10 or whatever it is amount of reviews, and everybody says early first round. If you read what people say about him, first overall, talking about the first step, pass rush moves, explosiveness. We didn't even really talk about any of that, and he's got that in the pocket as well. But you guys let me know what you think about Rueben Bain as always. Going to try to do some more Miami guys, especially this week with the signing day period. We did a lot of the top recruits that are committed to Miami, Cantwell and Darion Coleman, the quarterback as well. But you guys feel free to reach out. Thanks for watching.